Hi.
Welcome to Keeping Up with LaTonya and Renee.
Hi guys, I'm LaTonya, and you're here with the connection. As you see, we're sitting here with the awesome and talented Edward Dennis Fogle. Say hi, Edward.
Hello, everybody. I don't usually fare very well, in interviews like this. So if I'm teaching a class or something, I'm like in control. But sometimes I tell my students, like in class, that I'm really a shy person,
Oh,
and they don't necessarily believe that. But yeah, I am. So you'll have to maybe slap me around a little bit,
Oh, I'm pretty
it.
good at that, but
Yeah.
gently, real gentle, I promise. Well, as you guys know, I'll express a little bit about Dennis, Edward Dennis. I constantly call him Dennis. I go by LaTonya Renee. Everybody calls me Renee. So
Well, when I'm directing and I'm teaching class and I'm in this environment, I usually go by Edward Dennis Vogel, which is my name. But when I'm acting as an actor, it's Edward Dennis. I started that a long time ago when I was just breaking out into the business. And I kind of figured that when I was breaking out as an actor, I felt that some directors might feel intimidated, that they would be to be hiring another director.
Let's
for
go
their
back.
job.
Let's rewind a little bit. Okay, on that side of things. Okay, with you being an actor, director, and also I know you're a musician. I researched that much as well. Let's go back to when it started. Okay, so I know you were in the Vietnam War.
Mhm.
I know about those days. What did you go into acting around the 70s?
Well, you want to go maybe when I was this little kid in the basement practicing?
That's cute.
No, I'm just
I
kidding.
know the feeling.
No.
I got a scar on my leg when I first started cutting out down clothes.
I never thought of myself as getting into the acting profession at all. It was just something that I
That's right.
involved in when I got a little bit
God
disillusioned.
directed
with,
you that way?
Huh?
God directed.
Yeah, I think so, and wasn't necessarily intended, but he sometimes has other plans for us
That's right.
that we don't realize. And I think some of the reasons was because when I started out in life, I was a very challenged environment and abusive childhood and all that kind of stuff. And I was getting kicked out of schools and didn't get a passing mark or whatever. Threw my books out into the hallway,
I hear you.
stuff like that and everything. And then a teacher, I ran into this teacher that actually, I would say, Fogles, well, everybody's
Teacher
against
with
us
me
and
as
everything.
well.
And she actually took some time with me and said that you can make your name mean what you want it to mean.
She saw something in you, basically.
Yeah, so I actually turned into a straight A student.
See?
And with her help, and everybody around me still didn't know that. They thought this kid was still whatever it was, their opinion was.
Right.
But
that's right. Most smart
was like
people,
my little
they
secret,
view that
yeah.
way. You kind of, what it is you have extra energy, and normal life just you didn't fit into it. The same as me. When you're artistic like that, things like that happen, and you just need more places to release your energy, right?
Then I got into music. My first instrument was a cardboard, not cardboard, but a cigar box with a ruler and some rubber band.
That's the you made your banjo.
And I was playing, trying to play that,
cute.
and I got into. It kind of was like a release of.
All negative.
Yeah.
All the negative energy is somewhere you
Yeah,
found to
whatever,
release it out in
right,
a positive
exactly,
manner, basically.
And then my cousin and I, we got together and we formulated a band,
I
called
saw
the Rockin'
that.
Relations.
You did good with that too.
Amazingly so. We actually got a radio play and everything else with that band.
A little touring.
Yeah. Well, no, that came afterwards.
I bet you did a little touring though.
I did a lot of touring,
Yeah.
afterwards, traveling all over the world, Korea, China, Japan, and all over.
London.
Doing concerts, whatever. We would open up like back in the 70s with Donna Summers, the Oak Ridge Boys, and even the Jacksons.
Yeah, you were a feel-good man, acting. I saw that.
Yeah. So then I got a little disillusioned with the music industry in a way.
Okay.
Mainly because it seemed after a while I was finally, I had some insecurity issues going on with me back there, and still, which I didn't realize.
We all
And,
did. We all were
yeah.
always. So
Yeah,
we
so I-
realize that people. Right?
So you know, I felt, I kept avoiding, I would get producers.
Sorry, Dennis. Come on in. I have one of my models. Show
Oh,
up.
how do you
Weather's kind of
do?
bad.
I'm
She's
doing
showing up a little
good.
late.
How are you?
I'm good.
Sana,
How are you, Sana?
Okay.
you can fit in the back, sweetheart, quietly. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
apologize for the inconvenience in that.
No, it's not an inconvenience.
Good to have you, sweetie. Come on, so scoot in more. Come on in the middle more. We can't see you all the way over there.
Just move that.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry. I did not know that was there. Jonathan, thank you,
I
Jonathan.
apologize.
You're okay.
Well, that's
I'll
Jonathan's
stop
special light.
I'll stop in and pick it back
Say what?
up.
That's your special light, right?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah? You okay now, everybody? Everybody back okay? Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry for the interruption.
Well, that's okay, but anyway, I started, I was getting offers to actually, to record, you know, from the industry, you know, from major labels, and about 3 or 4 times they would come up to me and they said, we want you, you know, want to know if you wanted to get into recording as soon as you sign a contract, whatever. 'Cause it was kind of like in that area, you know, of, you know, big, rock stars or whatever.
Yeah, rock. It was R&B and
But I always,
hard rock.
yeah, I always kept saying to them, I would, okay, I'm going to call you, and but I didn't realize back then that it was just a way of avoiding that there was this insecurity that I thought, I didn't think I was I thought I wasn't very good as a singer, that people just looked at me because I had this big show, you know, I had 4 girls in the background and all these horns and all that kind of stuff.
That's nice.
So I felt they were actually listening with their eyes, but once I got into a studio,
Realize
it would just be me and that microphone, you know.
Right.
So I had those instruments, but sooner or later, I was getting a little bored with even the concert stuff in a way, because it's like when you first go somewhere, it's like when I did the Erie Crown Theater, the first time that I did a concert there, I was all nervous, you know, all excited. Holy jeez, I made the big time and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And then the second time, that I was there, the glamour wore up a little bit. Then the third time I did a concert there, well, the dressing rooms are here, whatever, no big thing, and it kind of lost that
Excitement.
edge, right?
Yeah.
And actually,
That's in you. That's that Gemini in you.
so it
For
got
sure.
it got to the point where I said it's about time to avoid going into the
Shift gears some
you know
other
shift
way.
gears to finally get into the recording industry. So I went out finally to try it, and I would talk to my band, and the band, they would be getting paid if they played or not. I mean, they would be
Right.
losing that big paycheck, you know, every week. So they didn't want to do it, so I let the band go on their own, and I wanted to get to the recording industry myself. And I found out it depends on too many people.
Okay.
You
listen,
know?
Not to interrupt you guys, but we have an inside joke. But how's your float?
It's good.
Oh, the flow, man.
Dennis made Sam afloat, you guys. That's what she's sitting here munching on.
You got that
I was
whip here, right?
curious.
Yeah.
Isn't she kind of offstaging him a little bit?
Yeah. Sitting over there munching on. Right after
Good.
mentioning
Better
it.
than this.
Right.
No, it's
right.
not.
She's really having a good one over there. That's is it okay?
Yeah, it is.
It's
It's
good.
good. I've never had cherry ice cream and a root beer float, but it's
It's
good.
good, huh? Mixed
Yeah.
up that flavor, didn't it?
Oh, that looks awful
Edward.
good to me.
Definitely an experience.
Yeah, it floats too close to me there.
Smells good there, right?
That's the last one we had too. I'll offer you all a float, but
Right.
she
That's
was
funny.
first in line, so we ran out of ice cream.
So tell
Aw.
me this. Tell me this. When did you come to the Actor Studio? 90s, right? Chicago Actor Studio, you got.
No, actually, I was studying at Ted Liss, who's one of the 5 best coaches in the United States.
Okay.
And
that's nice.
I left. I went out and started going out into business, and shortly afterwards he passed away.
Oh.
So
Sorry
when
to
he
hear that.
when he passed away, a couple of students, you know, they felt a little lost because they went around to other studios or whatever, and they didn't seem that it had the
Well,
standard
mhm.
that they were
Love,
used to.
welcome.
So I was kind of one of the major students there or something. They came up to me and asked me if I would teach them.
That's nice.
And I said, I'm not interested in being a teacher. I'm on my way to bigger things and stuff. So I said, what I will do though is I will get together with you and we'll all work out, not me being a teacher. But it wound up I was given all the
Instructions.
given all the instructions.
Direction.
So they lost the lease. They lost the lease on the loft that they had. So they wanted to continue it. I thought, well, this thing was over. So I said, okay, we'll get a new space, but nobody had good credit, so I signed for the lease.
That's nice.
And it wound up that I wound up having to pay the rent, so now paying the rent, I have to charge them something.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
understand that.
to kick
Everybody I
in,
work
to
with
get the
understands
thing going,
that. That's
okay?
how life is.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I teach people to invest in themselves. And anything you put into my event, it's gonna come back way bigger than you could ever give me. Honestly, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Honestly,
Yeah,
that's
so-
how life's supposed to be. I've been humanitarian the word you know, because of that. That matters. Everybody has to know that nothing's free. Nobody gives nobody anything free.
You have to
And if
work
we're
for
doing
it.
something free, you bartering, but you get good in your portfolio. Especially fooling with me.
yeah, well, I was stuck with the lease, and more students from Ted Liss kept coming to me. And there I said, okay, what are we going to call this place?
That's nice.
You
I
know,
like that.
I think we'll call it the Chicago
That's
Actors
awesome.
Studio, and that kind of
Grew and it was perfect. It
Yeah.
went from there. That's right. That's
Right.
awesome, Edward. Actually, back to touch base on that subject. People, I'm glad we connected. You've been inboxing me many years, and I didn't even realize because I do so much and move around so much. And when I finally stopped to realize, what was really going on here, and it made me take the notice. So it matters, and it just takes people to bring attention to things. You're a nice person, and you weren't aggressive. So it took me to really recognize what was going on with you, and that's a blessing. I appreciate you reaching out to me and being a part of you guys. Same as Shauna. She sent me a friend request. You guys, I'm horrible.
I'm so
Shauna
glad
works
to be
here.
today.
Say hi, Shauna. Shauna's beautiful.
Hi.
She works with the Actor Studio as well as Jonathan. Jonathan is the head guy here working. So, and Edzon is, you guys, one of my models. You know Edzon. Maria's one of my assistants. Sana's back there. She's one of my models. My girlfriend Sam is here. She's one of my models, makeup artist also, and my Dow baby, Frida's here as well, and she's my model ambassador. But I love my team, and I love people, and I appreciate being connected with you, seriously, with you guys. That's why I'm strong. God is changing my gears as well. I'm shifting gears, and I've been blessed with people that'll sew for me finally, that I'm not sitting in front of the sewing machine like a psycho fool, someone. I've toured the world, so I know where you're coming from. We can relate a lot on that. I've been all over the world in fashion, over and over. Been to New York, my designs more than me, honestly. So I feel you on that, and I'm humbled by that. And it takes a humanitarian, humble, and spirited person, to be that way. And teamwork makes the dream work,
Right.
and trust. We trust each other. My people come from out. They come
trust is
far.
very important.
They come far. She drove from far like me, how I expressed that to you, Jonathan. We travel to do the things we do. I don't live in Chicago, and I have the Chicago Humanitarian Award. So that says a lot. I do a lot for Chicago, and because it matters to me, this is where I was born and raised. I've lived out of here. I lived in San Diego 10 years, like you saying. I've been all over the place. But this is where our roots are, right?
Right, exactly.
That's right, right?
It's a whole different attitude here at the school, because I don't run it from the standpoint of trying to make big financial gains.
Same here.
More so than helping people, to come through this door.
That's right. I'm sure that's what you saw in me. Same thing. That's right. That matters. Because it's too many other ways that we're blessed in our talents to make our own money. I'm an investor. Investing in me to solve what I believe in, what I'm doing. That launched me off in another manner. So I understand. That's the truth. It's not about that. When, like I said, when we put what people put in us, we give back way more.
So-
Don't you feel he gives back more,
Absolutely.
honestly? Because see, God directs me and draws me to people, and it takes time. Sometimes some things can happen fast, like us, and sometimes things can take time. And God's connecting things. you know, which is all in a sense a good thing.
Well, there are no accidents in this world, so there's a reason we met.
That's right.
Okay, so
That's right. So tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on with the Tonight Show, that new show you have going.
oh, late night Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. We gotta have you on there to guest.
Definitely.
So you'll be on the other end there. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be your guest.
Yeah, we know, like,
I'm gonna shut up like you, but I will.
we, our main focus is the students, and I think Jonathan, we tried starting this late night Chicago a couple of times. And
This time, this is a go.
yeah, it
I'm here
didn't,
to help and make
we
sure.
had two startups over the years but it kind of like, the idea kind of fell apart after a while because my wife had cancer,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff, and I fought that for about 7 years or
Sorry
whatever.
to hear that. God bless you.
And
Wish I was around then.
then I was saddled with epilepsy for a while, okay? And I fought that, and that went away, you know,
That's good.
by the grace of God. So this time, Jonathan came up and he said, "Why don't we what? Have
It was supposed to be a series of videos about career advice for
To
new
help, yeah.
actors navigating the business.
That's nice.
yeah, to help so actors, because there's a lot of rumors what works and what doesn't work, and we wanted to give. It's another way of giving something back to the community. We're not putting it together for the purpose of making any money off it to monetize it or something. More so that we want someplace where that you could tune in and find out, you know, what is really happening, and make sure that we're kind of like sticking to what's going on in the Chicago area.
Okay, your base, where are you airing it? Is it YouTube?
Well, right now we're airing it on YouTube. We got our first I got about 3 episodes in the can already, and we want to be ahead of the game. We just had
Mark Willis.
Okay.
well, we had Mark Willis from the Black Panther in one of our
Oh yeah, I saw
episodes.
that.
Yeah. So we had Harold Dennis on our
Send
first
me those.
episode. We got
Susan
Susan
Sherman.
Susan
Yeah,
Sherman,
yeah.
you know, an agent.
She was at my event, right? Wasn't that Susan with you?
No,
Who
Susan
was that?
Sherman.
What was with you? Who is she?
That was Roberta De Niro.
Roberta
De Niro.
Co-host.
Yeah, she's a
too.
gal. Okay.
She's one of the
I
students
saw
here.
her on some of your interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's also one of the co-hosts on Late Night Chicago.
Right, I saw that. Yeah, exactly.
So we have people come on to talk about how they made it into business and, you know, whatever, and then we're going to have another section on the show called the Chicago Inside the Chicago Actors Studio.
Mhm, okay.
And with that, we're going to showcase a lot of the students, talk about how to make it into various different topics, headshots and agents and branding and all that kind of business.
That's good.
So that's basically where we're going with the show.
Okay.
And we're having a lot of fun. It's surprising, this whole thing about, you know, Me Too and girl power and everything else, that I put it out with the students, you know, who wanted to be involved with the show. It seems like they're all women. Almost
It's like
all of them.
that. It's
Yeah.
like that a lot. Most of my people are females.
Yeah.
What I have like 4 guys.
And they're so, to me, they're much more passionate.
I like it.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
much more
Yes.
passionate. It's a lot of fun being around.
Yes.
And we're really enjoying, right? We're really enjoying what we're doing. It's not a job or anything or something.
You know what? That's when it's fun. When people realize that, you know what I mean? When they're doing it for fun. When you're in this love for fun, and God blesses you with other opportunities.
Right.
Other opportunities are gonna come. You know what I mean? But the fun is what matters. When the fun leaves, it's not even worth it no more. Honestly, don't you all feel that way, everybody?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cutie patootie. Back there, I didn't forget you back there.
Well, I don't like to work.
Right.
You know, I don't like
Right,
to
so I
work.
like to make
So
it
I
seem
never
like
like to
fun.
look at things that it's a job, and if I'm
Right.
having fun doing it, then I'm not working. I
Me
may
too.
be expending more energy than people normally do on a job,
Way more.
but
way,
I'm not. It's like when you go to the music park.
like, man.
You go to Disney World. I mean, you walk all day. You're going all these rides, or you go to the beach. You're expending a lot of energy, but you're having fun. You know, that's what it is. It's not.
That's right.
It's not a job.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good.
And we
That's
feel
right.
we're accomplishing a service to give
Yeah, I
back
was
to
listening to
community.
Shauna in there when she was back in there cleaning the kitchen. She was saying, I like it to be like home. When I'm here, it's my home. And that's right. I like
That's
that. I
right.
like that kind of spirit. That's right.
Sure,
I
I
hear
feel
that.
like this is my second home because I come way from Europe, from Eastern Europe, from Moldova.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I just got here because I
Oh,
wanted
that's
to
beautiful.
follow and live my dream as an
I
actress.
love that.
And, right, and I was, you know, searching for
How long have you
a
been
nice
here?
place. 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're just, wow. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
thank
You
you.
speak very well. That's nice. I'm glad to hear that,
Sure,
Shauna.
and I was, you know, looking for an acting studio, and finally I found this one. But I was looking for something professional, and a very nice and comfortable environment. So
Right.
I can say that I really found it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I'm glad to hear that. That's beautiful.
Absolutely, and
That's
I'm very
awesome.
glad to be a co-host for the Late Night Chicago too.
Yes, that's nice.
Really, and I'm like, I come here, I can clean stuff because I feel like
Yes,
I'm at
it was
home and I
clean.
want to make everything look good,
That's
perfect.
right. Yeah, it was really
You know?
nice when I walked up. It was really
Yeah.
nice to me. I thought it was really homey and everything. So the
Yeah.
environment's great.
It feels like
honestly.
home, right?
Yeah, it was nice. I feel comfortable coming in, honestly. And that's nice. It makes a difference. It really does. So, late night show. You have any events or anything coming up? We know June 10th, you guys. June 10th, my event is 1024. I suggest 1024.
Yeah, what is the event?
It's holisticlg.com. You'll find all the details. It's June 10th, you guys. It's doors open at 2 to 5 o'clock p.m. He'll be speaking. Mr. Edward Dennis will be speaking. Sean will be there. Hopefully he'll pop in this time. Mr. Jonathan. All my team is always everywhere I go most of the time if they're available. She was out of town last time. Out of the country. Right, Sam? That's right.
One thing I'd like to mention, Jonathan there now, he's on his 3rd episode of Chicago Fire.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got
This is great.
he's
I
got a
saw
reoccurring
it.
role
I didn't
on
know
Chicago
that.
Fire, yeah.
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 Oh, I
It
gotta
was
check
great.
you out on there. I
He's-
didn't know that, Jonathan. That's
yeah.
good.
He started just with a small role as playing Gerald, the homeless guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I was on.
That was you, huh? I
yeah.
saw that. The
Yeah,
homeless guy
when I had the
role.
epileptic attack.
Yeah. I'm like,
And-
what? Real?
Yeah. So then I did another episode in season 5. They had me back, and then they brought me back for an episode in season 6 where they actually gave me more scenes. They built a little story
Really
around my
story,
character
Awesome.
for the episode. So there's a very good chance I'll be on in season 7.
Oh, I'm happy.
A very good chance
Wow.
they'll kill me off.
Good.
Looking forward to
Yay.
Yeah, if they don't
That's
kill him
awesome.
off.
No, they won't kill you off. You're
I-
doing good
they
evidently.
might, but
They
I
brought you
think,
back,
but I
what,
think it'll be a
4
good
times?
storyline if they do. I might get a very nice death scene. That'd make it worth it.
That's
I
so
think.
funny. I love it. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's awesome to know. Well,
And Shanna's done a couple things now.
tell us,
For,
Shauna.
Oh,
for
yeah.
iPhone, for Apple.
I've done an Apple commercial a commercial for Apple
That's
store
awesome.
on Michigan Avenue.
You did, huh?
Right,
That's
and
freaking
then a quick
awesome.
loan also.
Oh, that's good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, baby. That's good. That's real good. Congratulations. Keep going. That's my my motto, keep going. And when you keep going and like we're saying with a positive attitude and not looking for much out of the return, God seems to bless it. Seriously, he really does.
We have a career counseling program here at the school, which nobody else has, where we have the students come in, they spend an hour or so with me every week, and I help develop their whole package. And, like the band students come in, we don't charge them, we just
That's
spend that
nice.
extra time with them. And if the student is going out on an audition, we work with them too on an audition.
them.
And we don't
Right.
charge them for this, we
Mhm.
just want them to
To
succeed.
succeed. That's
Yeah,
exactly my